Tēnā koutou katoa. Welcome to this event, the Women in STEM Careers Q&A event, which is where we're celebrating the International Day of Women and Girls in Science. My name's Nicola Brown and we have a panel of 4 STEM professionals here today to answer all your questions. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is we will go around the panel and they can introduce themselves and tell you a little bit about what got them interested in STEM. So Amanda, could we start with you?
So my name's Amanda, as it probably says on the little Zoom thing. I have recently just started working for Fisher & Paykel Appliances as a product development engineer in Dunedin. But it's only recent because I've just graduated from university, so I've just gone through the 4 years of mechatronics engineering degree at Massey. I've already said that. I got into STEM because of a teacher at high school. They basically showed me the opportunities around it all, and I guess that's the end of the story there. My heart was set on engineering ever since, so that's what I've been doing.
Fantastic. Thank you, Amanda. How about you, Raquel?
Hello, everyone. My name is Raquel Lozano. So I'm a PhD student here at Massey University, and I'm just about to finish my PhD thesis. So what I'm focusing on my PhD thesis is actually mathematical modeling for kiwi fruit packaging systems. So we're trying to minimize environmental impacts of that. So what really got me interested in studying STEM is in high school, I was a really big fan of maths and science, and I also was like a pretty good art student as well. And I thought the best way to kind of pursue that kind of passion was to turn it into a food technology degree. And so, yeah, did 4 years of that. And then I still had some unfinished business in terms of mathematical modeling. So I carried on studying.
Fantastic. Thank you. How about you, Hannah?
Hi, everyone. My name is Hannah. I'm a chemical engineer. So I graduated from Massey University in 2015. And I worked in the dairy industry for a few years, but since COVID happened, I wanted to travel, couldn't travel that much, but ended up moving to Australia. So now I work as a kind of technical associate in a renewable energy and green chemicals advisory company. And I got into engineering because I really liked chemistry and maths at school. So I thought I might become a scientist, but my dad was a civil engineer and he kind of encouraged me to do chemical engineering because he said it was a little bit more practical. So that's how I sort of, fell into a chemical engineering degree.
Okay, thanks, Hannah. And lastly, we have Katie.
Hi, I'm Katie. So I'm an innovation project manager at Fonterra. I originally studied chemical and process engineering and engineering management at Canterbury. And then after joining the grad program at Fonterra, did a Masters of Dairy Science and Technology at Massey. So I've got about 12 years experience working for Fonterra now and across a broad range of technical areas there, and found myself in innovation project management most recently. I guess got interested in STEM because over time I realized that maths and science areas were the things that I was good at and really enjoyed. And I can also say that I had a bit of a background, I guess, from my family, with both my parents working in STEM areas or businesses. And so that was always in the background. I was always aware of it, but I was never necessarily confident that that was the right direction for me. I actually wanted to go off and be an actor or do something in drama. And then when it came time to get serious and decide what I was really going to do, I realized that perhaps something in the science technology space was more for me. So did a bit of a subject change around in the last year of school and ended up going into chemical and process engineering.
Fantastic. I'll give a little intro of myself too, because I'm sure I won't be able to help but give some answers myself during this event. So I'm Nicola Brown. I'm a senior lecturer at Massey. And what really got me interested in STEM was I grew up on a dairy farm and it was very close to a dairy processing facility. And from the outside, all you could see were massive buildings and shiny tanks. And it always fascinated me, you know, what happened inside there. And I had a big interest in chemistry. And kind of like Hannah, I had an uncle who'd started chemistry and he said, no, do engineering. So I ended up doing chemical engineering. And when I was at uni, I actually got fascinated by something that most people don't want to think about, and that is wastewater. So I work on wastewater treatment. So all the stuff that goes down your drain, someone has to worry about. And what I like about it is that it's not just the science and engineering, there's also the people aspect and that environmental aspect as well, because, you know, people produce this wastewater and they want to use the waterways where we typically dispose of it. So the next question was one of our most popular questions from the event last year. So we're going to go around the panel members again. And that is, what does a typical day look like? So often, particularly high school students, may not understand what STEM professionals actually get up to. So let's have a talk about what we do on a typical day. Now, Amanda, you've only just recently started working. So if you wish, feel free to describe a typical day of a mechatronics student.
Yeah, so I'll do the mechatronics student. As you go through the different years, obviously your courses do look very different each year. So first year through to about third year is a lot more class orientated and you listen to the lectures. So first year is very much you're just listening to people talk, and you have like a smaller project to do. But I can't really remember for first year now. By fourth year, you're doing a lot more project-based work, and it's a lot more independent study with a side of class. It's basically putting your skills to the test of, you've done the 3 years of hard work, now let's apply that to real world scenarios. And so you get to work with different companies, and you get to code robots and design and using CAD software and modeling statistical analysis systems to basically design after identifying what the problem was and then coming up with a solution that should hopefully work in a real world situation. And a lot of, you do lose sleep, but it's not bad.
Hopefully not too much sleep. Raquel, how about you? So I guess a typical day during a PhD varies quite a bit depending on where you are within that process. So can you describe a typical day, or do you need to sort of explain the steps you've gone through?
It kind of varies as well, like you said, because I'm also working like closely with the kiwi fruit industry. So I guess around this time of the year, kiwi fruit season is kind of getting into full swing. So you'll be looking at spending some hours in the lab. So that was in the past few years, I was spending like a lot of time measuring kiwi fruit and getting experiments, collecting data. And then you can spend, like nearly a whole day in the lab, but then you also have to consider what you're doing outside of the lab. So that's often trying to get your models working, meeting with your supervisors, trying to understand your project, and then of course, trying to help everyone else throughout the busy season. So it is really, really busy, and there's always a lot of things to do, and you're never done every day. So it's super exciting.
Fantastic. Hannah, how about you? Do you have a typical day, or does it vary quite a bit?
It tends to vary quite a bit. So my job at the moment is working on sort of really early stage projects. So these are projects that are basically like one step away from just a great idea. So a lot of my work at the moment is working with like specialists in other areas to kind of help solve projects and make some big decisions about aspects of our project, like where should it go or how big should it be, things like that. So while I've got some knowledge about the processes, other people have environmental knowledge or planning expertise. So I work with a lot of consultants to help narrow down what the potential issues are with the project and how we might go about solving them. So sometimes we might be on a site visit, looking into a particular project that we've got, or taking some consultants around. And other times we'll be doing, more like, I guess, traditional engineering activities like cost estimating, or, doing maybe a financial model, writing reports about what we found out, that sort of thing. So we're just trying to move the project along from an idea to more reality, I guess.
How about you, Katie? What's a typical day for you?
Yeah, like the others, my typical day is very varied. It'll change day by day. So probably the general thing I can say about my role as an innovation project manager is it's very, very people focused. So a lot of time working with some incredibly talented people within the R&D centre here. We've got scientists, engineers, applications experts, and all of the support staff that are needed to make all of these great ideas happen, as Hannah was explaining just before. And I consider what I do as being a lot like being the interpreter between the technical side, what we're learning, and then the business side, what the marketers are wanting, what the business wants, and then with operations, because they're the people that are going to need to make it happen eventually. So what is it that they need to understand, what and they know best what their limitations are, so what do we need to learn from them, and trying to pull all of that together and think ahead and plan towards where we need to go and help the team drive to get there. So it's, yeah, very interesting, and I get to learn a lot. Every new project is something new that I'm learning and building experience in, so it's really cool.